let's get back to the basics here. So this recorder, there's a lot of different groups I've already got set up on this recorder. Here's one with 20 channels. I like to show the 20 channels because you can have up to 20 channels displayed on a single group. And if you really maxed out this recorder with the maximum I/O, technically you could have up to 1,000 channels being displayed and logged here on this one box. There's 50 of these different groups. Each group has its own name. I just happen to name this one 20 channels. Here's a group called Reactor 3. There's 50 of these different groups, and each group can support 20 channels, so you get up to 1,000 channels if you want to. Okay. There's a lot of flexibility here on this touchscreen display. If you want your digital values over here, you just drag them there. If you want them here, you drag them here. You can do most anything you want to. But there's also a lot of flexibility as far as going in history mode and reviewing the historical data. What you can do is take a finger and just slide this back. So if you want to go back in time, you can do something like this. You can also take your scale and position your scale over here and on the real-time trends. There's a couple different ways you can actually display these data values too. If I take my scale here, oh, you know something, let me get back here where maybe I've got a spike or something. Yeah. So you can see as I move this area across, you can see the digital values are changing over here because it's giving me the digital value for each point on that trend line for basically each second in time there. I'm logging values every second on this particular recorder, okay? So you can go back in time this way. You can drag a scale over here. You can also touch, if you touch that screen, there's going to be 4 icons show up over here on the left-hand side. If you hit the top one, it's going to take all the data that's in the internal RAM, non-volatile RAM, and display it here. And then you can drag and drop. There's a little white slider box here. You can drag and drop that anywhere you want to go, and you can immediately go to that point in time. So you're not wasting a lot of time scrolling through page by page or pulling a piece of strip chart paper out. You immediately go to where the issue is, you know, and what you want to review, okay? Now, I mentioned something about the data in the internal media, in the internal RAM. The standard recorder comes with 500 megabyte of internal RAM. You can get it with up to 1.2 gig of non-volatile internal RAM. But the standard removable media is an SD card. It comes with a 1 gig card, but you can put up to 32 gig card in here. Now, if you had, let's say, just to give you an idea how much data that will hold, if you had 20 channels being logged every 5 seconds, a 32 gig SD card would fill every 21 years. So memory is just not a problem here anymore. There's lots of memory available to you at any one time. Okay? So if you remember when we touched that screen, there was some icons showed up over here. One of the icons puts you in data history mode. Another icon will bring up some pre-programmed messages. So if I wanted to write a message, I could say maybe controller alarm check reactor. I could enter that manually, and you'll see now controller alarm check reactor will come up. There's also a way to enter custom messages. You might want to go in here and enter a message that says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or whatever. And I'll hit OK, and that message will come up and be displayed here on the chart. But there's a third way that emulates a lot of the old paper recorders that we used to write on. Now a color palette will come up, and you can come over here and you can annotate this, you know, different colors. You can write messages. You know, if you want to erase something, you can do that. If you want to undo it, if you want to clear it and start all over again, you can do that. But basically, once you go in here and annotate this, you save this, and it becomes part of it. It's an image mark. It becomes a permanent part of that data file. And I'll show you what that looks like when we look at the data on the PC as well. But no matter where you go from here out in this recorder, what you're looking at in that data file, that image mark is going to be there. It's going to be maintained. Okay? Some of the other displays that are available that you might like are called MultiPanel Mode. There's 20 of these custom screens called multi-screens now. And you can make these things look any way you want. You can make them look, you can put them in split format. You could put them in maybe 6 different cells. There's a lot of different things you can do here. But what happens here, let's say you did have, let's go back here. Let's say you had, let's say you wanted to go to a multi-screen and you wanted to make that a split screen with vertical. And you might want digital values over here. You might want trend over here. But you might want to change this digital value to maybe an alarm summary report, okay? So you can put anything you want to in here. It's all easily menu driven. These are all the options you have, anywhere from 2 up to 6. But it's just a matter of touching that particular cell and then telling it what you want to be displayed for that particular operator for that particular cell, okay? Most people stay on the trends and the digital values, but I think the alarm summary page is a good one to focus on, because what happens here is if you do have an alarm summary, if you do have an alarm display, get over here real quick. If you do have an alarm there listed there, you can actually touch that and now go right to the trend where that alarm occurred. So there's no going searching back trying to find everything. It's very intuitive, okay? Now, as far as the data search mode, there's a couple different ways to search data. What you can do is go into a data search where you can program in the year, month, day, hour, minute that you want to go to and search that data. There's the all data display window. We were just looking at that. There's freehand message window. There's a lot of different ways to get in there. But what you'll find when you initially start working with this recorder is there's 3 main roads or routes into this recorder. One of them is called context. The context icons are applicable to the screen that you're on. The universal route or road has icons that are universal in nature. You can take a snapshot. Let's say I might want to take a snapshot of what's going on right now in the recorder. I just took a picture of that. It saved it as a PNG format down on the SD card. So this universal, I can maybe close a file off. I can write a message. I can start or stop my control loops. A lot of different things you can do there. But I'll go to browse mode. And here's a control icon. It's going to put me in a control group. I can go and look at all my different internal loop controls. If I go, I might want to go to a tuning page, and I see some tuning issues there. There's a lot of different things that you can do in the program, including the program selection, selecting the patterns, and actually running the program, okay? But I can also jump back to trend mode.